last 30 days, you've made $4,000 at the AI agency. Like, guys, he's 15. Like, that's the thing I want to make clear here too.
Next month, I'm aiming for above $10,000 in personal profit, maybe even more.
But talk about a little bit what you did with the outreach side of things.
I would go on Facebook. I would literally just create Facebook groups. So I would go in for my niche and I would just push that Facebook group like crazy.
All right, guys, we've got Rocco right here, Mr. the man, the myth, the legend, 15 years old, closing clients. Rocco, give a quick introduction to the people so they understand who you are, where you came from, and then we'll kind of get into the nuts and bolts and things here today, just about how you're actually closing clients, what your goals are, what you're doing with the AI agency, etc. So jump into it.
Yeah, so my name is Rocco D'Onofrio. I come from Canada. I'm literally 15 years old. So, I've always been in entrepreneurship for like a while, but like this year I really just started grinding and I knew that I need to figure something out so that eventually I could get to where I want to go, just be financially stable in my life. So yeah, that's a little story about me, I'm 15 from Canada, literally just a normal kid.
There you go. There you go. So in the last 30 days, you've made literally like just around $4,000 at the AI agency. Like,
Yeah.
guys, he's 15. Like, that's the thing I want to make clear here too, is like at 15, I wasn't in the space at all. Like, I started when I was like 16. So you're ahead of everyone, right? Not only are you 15, but you're also closing clients. You're also making money. It's like substantial money. Like 4K a month is like, that's really, really like for 25 years old, like I would say that's actually pretty average, pretty decent. So you're doing it 10 years ahead of schedule. So for you, obviously, I know you a little bit more just because of we've spoken. You're in the mastermind. You've done everything for the past few months, and your work ethic is something else. But I guess for the people that don't have any context, like, have you done stuff before the AI agency? Like, what have you kind of experimented when it came to entrepreneurship before you actually, of course, succeeding to an extent with the agency?
Yeah. So basically, like, I did it all. Like, I tried everything from drop shipping to copywriting to SMMA, just all the basic stuff that literally everybody does. But what really stuck with me was actually just finding one thing, just not having shiny object syndrome and not being like, oh, never mind, I'm going to go do e-commerce or, I'm going to go do like copywriting or something like that. Like, what really worked for me, especially at a young age, is I really just stuck with something and learned before I earned. Because that's one big thing that I see that lots of people mess up, especially in the online space. They think that they could jump right into earning without, like, obviously learning. Because it's, like, the most important part. You can't earn, you can't earn before you learn. It's, like, even anything in life. If you want to, like, go cook a really good plate of spaghetti, because I'm Italian, I love spaghetti. But it's, like, you need to, like, know how to cook before you cook a really good plate of spaghetti. Because, like, people that read recipes, obviously their spaghetti is going to be good, but it's like people that just jump in and has never cooked before, touched the pan, then their spaghetti is going to be shit. But like overall for me, I've been doing entrepreneurship for about like 2 years, just very simple. Like when I was really young, I think I was about like 10, I used to sell like candy to kids on the schoolyard. I made about like $500 doing that, so it was pretty good money for a 10.
That's good for that age. What the
Yeah.
heck? Yeah, that's
But it's
nice.
like after that, around 13 or 12, I messed with a clothing brand because obviously I'm a guy, I like my fashion and stuff like that. So I messed around with that for 2 months. I ended up wasting literally like all my money I saved up. $1,000 was just down the drain at $0. So then what I did the next month is I was like, all right, you know what? I need to figure out something. I only watched a few videos about clothing brand, but there definitely has to be more ways online to make money. So obviously I was watching Jordan Welsh, I was watching Iman Ghazi, and I actually like fell in love with Jordan Welsh's videos, bro, and I just stuck with drop shipping. I did drop shipping for like a whole month, and I literally I think I made like $700, which was pretty good for 2 months on organic drop shipping. I had like a whole store and everything. But it was like, that wasn't all profit, of course, because it's like, that's about like, what, like $100, 200 in profit, which is really not anything.
It's like 30% margins or something.
Yeah, and most of those sales I actually got were like distributions, like they wanted their money back because of how long
No.
they been companies. But it's like,
Yeah.
it's like yeah, whatever. But that's a little bit about myself, a little bit about my story. Now I'm just fully focused on trying to grow up that agency. Like next month, I'm aiming for above $10,000 in personal profit, maybe even more. But yeah, that's just a
When you say next month, it's as we're recording this, it's May 7th. Are you saying this month or are you saying in June?
probably this month. 10,000 next month. I can't say the future, but definitely I want it to be over like 20,000 in personal profit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you right now, recapping, so you started just like selling candy, doing kind of like very, very basic,
Yeah.
I guess, entrepreneurial things, when you said 12 years old?
Yeah. No, I started selling candy at like 10.
10. Okay. So you made $500 with that. You made some money with that.
Hmm.
Then you kind of used that money, put it into clothing brand, into some drop shipping stuff. Didn't really make any money with it. And then you stumbled across the whole AI agency stuff. Jordan Welch is GOAT, by the way. Um, so when it comes to the AI agency stuff, so did you stumble across? Was it just you were looking out like make money online with AI? Like how did you come across it?
Yeah, so this came about, I would say 2024, like December. Honestly, I was probably in a low point, like in my teenage years. Like, I was just doing what stupid kids do, go outside, go mess around and do stuff that really doesn't matter. And I realized, like, yeah, I could do that for as long as I want, but realistically, that's not going to get me where I want to be in life because I've always had big aspirations of, being somebody and just not being like nobody, essentially. So, I fell back into like the entrepreneurship space. Like I said, I was doing it before. I started watching some videos again. I actually came across Liam Otley's channel, which was like, the main AI automation guy.
Yeah.
I did AI automation for like a whole month. So my first month was mainly focused on AI automation. I did dead lead reactivation to real estate agents, which is like very niche specific, but
Yeah.
I did that for a whole month grinding, and that's what really developed my worth ethic, I would say, because it got me like really focused, and I know that okay, this will work if I just put the time in. But after that month, I knew that AI automation was low key. It was not the greatest. Like it's like you can make money
Yeah.
with it, but it's like hard to get those really
It's
really
it's not
high.
as advertised. We'll put
Yeah,
it that way. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So what I did actually, so I figured I was like, okay, my offer sucks. I don't know. I'm just selling dead lead reactivation. I'm like, what am I doing? So I'm pretty sure it was like one night I was literally just like eating dinner on my kitchen where I was like, all right, I'm gonna pull up YouTube for once because I haven't been on it like for like months. So I came across Wyatt's YouTube channel. He's just talking about, oh, okay, do this, the Facebook ads, connect it with the funnel, AI automation, use AI, leverage the word AI to make all this money. And I was like,
Yep.
okay, you know what, that sounds interesting. So basically what I did is I booked the call on the calendar and just joined the thing, was around people in the community that helped me learn like 10 times faster. So that's realistically like what I,
Okay. So you started with AI automation,
yeah.
realized it kind of wasn't as planned, it wasn't as advertised, switched to obviously with kind of more what Wyatt and I do with AI
Yeah.
agency stuff, and talk to us a little bit about, okay, how long have you been kind of, I guess, starting just now with your agency when you officially started? How long has it been? Talk about also what you do, I think, and it's very clear, and I think
Yeah.
you know it, just
Yeah.
just on the group calls with everyone else and stuff, it's
Mhm.
pretty obvious you are a little bit ahead of everyone else when it comes to how much
Yeah.
time you put in. So talk about, I guess, how much time you've had in the game with agency space when you first started. You said December, so I assume like 5 months or
Mhm.
it's kind of around there.
Yeah.
And just like how you're ahead of everyone else in a sense of like not everyone else, of course, but how you're able to gain so much traction at your age amongst people who are like 25, 30,
Yeah.
etc.
So I really like I switched my offer around January, and obviously I was locked in December. Like I was really really focused with my work ethic. I worked like 9 hours a day. I would get home from school, literally just go and work until I go to sleep. So honestly,
Yeah.
I always had a work ethic like that. But recently, when I switched my offer, I think I started like January 20th, something around there. I don't remember the exact date, but it's been January 20th, literally until now that I've just been grinding on my current agency and just working my ass off every single day. And obviously, one part where I think I'm successful at my age, especially with generating money, especially without even running ads. I haven't even spent a dime on ads because I
Yep.
can't get a job, so I don't have nothing to like fund me ads. And obviously, my parents like they're not in the best financial state, so they can't really just give me money for ads, stuff like that. But
Yep.
yeah, so honestly, I feel like why I'm ahead is just my work ethic, and I feel like that I was really built through like cold outreach because how tough it really was. It's
Yeah.
like sitting hours at the computer, grinding, sending messages. So I feel like that's one thing that really built my work ethic to be like really high, and I could just work for hours now. But yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. I'll say with your work ethic, and this is something you didn't mention, but when I say your work ethic is good, I mean Talk about you joining in like the library at school. You're like, it looks like you're up in like your locker, like your head is like in your locker, like we'll take in like group calls, asking questions. Like there's like, the group calls are like hour long. There's a bunch of, 10, 15 people in there all asking questions. You wait your turn while you're just sitting at school, in the bathroom or whatever it is to ask your question. Like, talk about actually how you're able to make time for this stuff. Cause I mean, most people they don't go to that length. Most people
Yeah,
are just like,
exactly.
okay, I'm at school, I can't attend it. You've genuinely found a way to really just like, I guess, beat the system in that sense. So
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I try to do whatever I can in my power to obviously learn as much as I can. Because, like I always say, you got to learn before you earn. So I can't skip the valuable part, which is learning. So, like in school, I'm like, okay, you know what, teacher, just let me use the washroom for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It always ends up being like 30 minutes or something like that. But, it's just like,
Yeah.
that's one thing about me is just, I'm always locked in like that. Like, I need to, when I have an answer, like a question in my head and it needs to be solved, I'll do whatever I can in my power to figure it out, even with like in a sense of making money. In a sense, like I said, okay, you know what? This month I'm gonna make money, and it happened because I put a goal in my head and I achieved it. But yeah, like in terms of my work ethic, honestly, it's just like I'm just hardworking. Just
Yeah.
realistically, like there's people that just don't put the time in at all, and they think that's gonna be a walk in the park. Like entrepreneurship in general, like they're just gonna come in and make all this money when it's simply not true. You just need to have a really good work ethic from the start to eventually make all that money.
Yeah. With
Yeah,
consistency for sure. Just because
exactly.
like everyone knows it's a marathon, not a
Hmm.
sprint. If it was so easy to make 10K a month online, no one would work a job.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like think
Exactly.
think about that for a second. So, okay, cool. Obviously the work ethic is there. So talk a little bit about you don't have ads, you don't have money for ads. You
Hmm.
haven't you're 15, so I think in Canada you can't get a job, correct?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't. And it's
So
really.
you've had to use the money, or just with really no money, you've had to just use the time you have in the
Mhm.
day to go out and outreach to clients, and you've closed. How many clients total have you closed to make the 4,000
I think it's
in the
only been
past month or
been
so?
like two clients. Two
Two
clients.
clients.
Yeah, two clients.
Okay. So like average of like $2,000 up front per client.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, talk to us a little bit about how you did it, because of course everyone wants to understand how to get clients. Of course, ads is the best way to do
Mhm.
it, and now that's kind
Yeah,
of what yours sounds like doing now to
of course.
actually hit that 10K a month mark.
Hmm.
But talk about a little bit what you did with the outreach side of things, because
Yeah.
obviously you put a lot of time in to do that. So maybe touch on that a little bit to get those clients.
Yeah, so for outreach, I had like some crazy methods honestly that I use and I could just give them out because honestly I'm not gonna do it anymore. So for some people that don't have money for ads, go ahead and use my methods. But some stuff that really worked for me is I would go on Facebook, I would literally just create Facebook groups. So I would go in for my niche, I would make completely like detective or like incognito, if you could say it that way, like Facebook groups. So it would just be fully undercover saying, okay, join my solar pros, connect with other solar people in the space. And I
Hmm.
would just push that Facebook group like crazy. I would send the group into other groups. I would DM people to join my group. But of course I was doing it in a way like, I'm a solar pro myself, even though I'm not. I was just putting it in a way like that.
Yeah.
So I was just DMing people to join my group day after day, filled it up a bit. And when you actually land inside my group, it's just a full nurturing sequence. So I have a link to my like my niche YouTube channel that had hours of long like videos explaining exactly
Yep.
how it will help your business and all this stuff. So when people joined it, obviously I used it as kind of like a nurturing sequence. Like, I made also like a free video. So when they join, I'll be like, okay, here's your free 2-minute video, here's what my group's really about. And that whole
Hmm.
video is just a way to push them to obviously book on the calendar, but
Yep.
most of them didn't. So I have to use like a YouTube nurturing sequence. So that's one thing that I did to generate a few appointments because obviously I closed through clients, which is very good. But I had tons and tons of appointments that I completely missed the mark on because my sales just wasn't there yet. Obviously, I'm confident now within my sales, but before
Yeah.
it wasn't there yet. So I was just missing out on appointment after appointment after appointment. So that was one of the cold outreach methods that I actually did do. And another one that I used that got me tons of appointments was I used to go on Canva. I would literally just make static ads. So, basic roofing static ads, like on your video, what you're doing with the real estate agents,
Yeah.
literally static ads like that. I would get those static ads. I would go to solar Facebook groups, roofing Facebook groups, real estate Facebook groups, and I would just post those static ads every single day. So it's like advertising for free directly to the person that's actually, like your buyer.
Yep.
like your ideal buyer. So I used to do that a lot, and that worked as well. Simple static ads telling them, okay, you know what, here's my guarantee, book a call with me now. And that
Yep.
obviously worked out pretty well. But yeah, that's what I did to generate actually leads in the cold outreach space.
And you also posted a lot on YouTube. So like what
Yeah.
I talk about, and of course all the guys in the mastermind, and they have all seen Rocco's stuff. But like, if you don't have money for ads, there's two things you do, and do them both. You do outreach and you do organic content.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that's how you did the outreach side of things. Now you were also, I think, I remember watching your videos. You were
Yeah.
pretty consistent on the YouTube grind. Like you were posting a lot of videos to hit solar guys. And was it solar and roofing, or was it just solar?
It was solar. Obviously, my niche has changed now. I'm in roofing, but before it was solar.
Okay. So for you, in doing both of those to book obviously calls, how many people were in that Facebook group that you had?
I think about 200, I believe.
That's actually really good. 200 solar guys that have joined. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really good.
200.
Yeah, okay. So that's how you booked the appointments, and then obviously how many sales calls did you take total? And then you closed, of course, too. So how many did you have booked total to convert into two?
So probably at my beginning stage, well, like all time I've had about like 15, but like obviously my sales skills weren't there yet. Now like I'm completely confident. Like if somebody wants to buy and they know a bit about me, like I'm confident I can close them because I've been doing my studying and all that, and obviously from like trial and error because I've hopped on so many already sales calls at a young age where I just understand what to expect. But yeah, so it's been about I would say 15 appointments. I got some of those appointments in my earlier days. But like I said, my sales skills just weren't there yet, so obviously I couldn't close them. But yeah, YouTube was also a big part of me generating clients organically too, because I kind of used it as a nurturing sequence within my Facebook group. So it was like a cold outreach funnel. So like the top of my
Yeah,
funnel was like telling people to join my group, and then the bottom would be watching my YouTube video, essentially.
I see. Okay, so you had 15 total booked calls, two of them converted into
Mhm.
clients, charging 2K per.
Yep.
And I'll touch on this a little bit because I know we talked about this recently, but so you close them both for 2K, and you're doing the basic
Mhm.
ads and AI caller fulfillment, right? That's the
Yep.
pretty basic fulfillment you're doing for them.
Yep.
One of your clients, the results on that I know were insane. I remember you jumped on a group call, and like everyone else in the mastermind was like asking you like, wait, that's insane because
Yeah.
you booked, if I'm correct here, you booked two appointments for one
Hmm.
of your clients through
Yep.
ads
Hmm.
and the AI caller and everything, and it booked them into their calendar. Two appointments for, it was a roofer, correct?
Yeah. No, it was a solar. It was a solar pro.
Solar.
Yep.
Okay. Two for the solar,
Hmm.
and literally both of them they closed, and they made what? What was it, like 16 grand or something from like your service
Yes.
that they paid you 2K for?
16K for 2 appointments. So that's just to show you the quality right there. It's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So did you do anything specific? I mean, or like different that maybe you could tell the people that are watching this about like how you set up the ads, or was it pretty straightforward, pretty simple?
Pretty straightforward and simple. Literally a static ad with like pictures of solar. Say, okay, go here and get your free solar quote. As simple as that. Just a static ad. It would lead them to a Facebook lead form as well. Nothing crazy. Literally a Facebook lead form that does disqualifying, qualifying, and they just
Hmm.
send them to the calendar. So literally super simple fulfillment.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
and then the AI was set up on the back end. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, well that's obviously the client results are going well.
Yep.
Maybe tell everyone because I know you're obviously going from solar to roofing, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask like, "Hey, why are you switching niches if you've already closed two clients?"
Yeah.
What is that answer? Because of course, switching industries is kind of a big decision.
It is. It is. I would say personally in the solar space because I was doing it for quite a while. You just get people that are kind of on a high horse. Especially, I'm at a young age, and I'm not using it as an excuse in a way. But tons of people they just don't like hopping on a sales call with a 15-year-old, especially in the solar industry because they're more like blue collar guys and stuff like that. Obviously, roofing's blue collar as well, but I feel like solar guys are little bit just more like like down to the point or like I don't care about
Yeah,
you.
they're sales sharks. Yeah,
Yeah, they're sales sharks essentially. But
yeah,
in that way with solar, I also switched too because I feel like the niche is a bit interesting for the AI infrastructure to actually come in place because obviously I was in solar. I know solar terms. I did my market research, but a few things that I noticed was they don't. It's not like one company that does everything. Not one company that just gets the lead, sets the appointment, books the call, and then installs. It's split up into like different companies. So there's going to be like a sales or solar company that generates the leads, appointments. There's going to be then an EPC that just installs the appointments. So it's like two companies working together. It's just not one together, which is like in roofing. It's just one company that does everything. So the AI system could really come and play there.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, So that's good to understand.
Hmm.
Now, okay, with you switching industries, I know when you told me, I was super against it. I was telling you, I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, do not switch. You've already closed clients. And obviously, I mean, with where you're at now, you have money to spend on ads. Like you're
Hmm.
gonna close clients. So
Yeah.
I guess that leads me to my next point, which is what are the goals? I know you said 10K a month. Like, do you have goals? Give me a 1 month. So let's say at the end of this month,
Yeah.
May, and then give me like a 3 month goal from now. So like it'll be like kind of midsummer almost. So
Yeah.
what are the two goals there?
Okay, so my goal probably next month, and I don't say revenue, I always use personal profit, is probably
Mhm.
10,000 in personal profit next month. So that's my goal, and then probably
When you
within
say
the
next
next,
month, are you talking June? Just to
yeah, dude,
clarify.
I keep saying next
Okay.
month, like
Okay.
this,
Okay.
no, this month as well probably, because I think I'm confident I could hit it.
Okay. We'll say next month.
Yeah,
We'll say both. How about that?
yeah, yeah, both,
Easy.
both.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But
And then
yeah,
what's 3 months from now?
3 months, 30,000.
Thirty
Let's put it
thousand in
that way,
personal profit.
30,000 personal profit. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And then are you so? I guess with you starting all this, you having these goals and stuff. You joined the mastermind. When did you join all that? When was that? You said December or was that January?
January, January.
January. Okay, got it. Talk a little bit about like I guess the experience inside the mastermind for maybe some people watching, because of course there's people that look at this stuff, and obviously having I think the community has been massive, and having me and Wyatt to ask questions to build where you're at today, and obviously where you're scaling has been big. Maybe just touch on like the biggest things that have helped you a lot inside the mastermind, because people obviously might wonder.
Yeah, so it was 100% the community that did it for me. So obviously I had like an understanding of entrepreneurship. Like I said, I ran an AI automation agency for a month, so I knew the basics of like funnel creation, how to create good funnels, and do like all the necessary setup. But what really did it for me was the community, just connecting with other high level entrepreneurs that are also doing the same thing as me and just learning twice as fast. Because, like I said, you got to learn before you earn. But you could definitely cut that process down by learning from other people's experiences that especially already ran a successful agency, someone that's already running an agency, or maybe someone that hasn't made barely any money, but they still have experience under their belt. So that's
Hmm.
one thing that honestly really intrigued me in the mastermind, and honestly joining the mastermind was really the community.
Yeah, yeah. No, the
Yeah.
community's huge. The guys in there are awesome, and I think there's a
100%.
maybe a few girls too. But yeah. I mean, like that's kind of the point of it is obviously the community aspect, and then of course you just having access to
Yeah.
me, and then also Wyatt, and alongside that too. So um, I guess kind of like almost wrapping up in a sense is what is the advice you would give to someone who's watching this video and they want to start their own AI agency. Like, obviously, they've seen maybe my content.
Mhm.
There's like a 5 hour course. There's me in a challenge. There's all those videos out there to help them kind of with this. But obviously, I think you can agree that like, especially in the beginner phases, it's not really what you know to an extent. It's a lot of just like your personal actions and your actual mindset when it comes to business that propels you to that first
Yeah.
5, 10 grand a month, whatever. What advice could you give them? Obviously, you being at 4K a month right now, which is amazing at 15.
Mhm.
I know you're going to do a lot more than that. What advice do you have?
Yeah, so one thing I always looked at business, especially from like a while back, business is like an airplane. So it's gonna take all your fuel, literally everything that you have to just get that airplane off the ground. And then once you're at cruising altitude, you're not gonna use as much fuel and you're just gonna be making the money you want. So honestly, that's what I gotta say. The beginning part, that's when you're trying to get that plane up, it's gonna be the hardest. You're gonna have to put in hours. You're gonna have to have a good work ethic. You can't go out as much. You can't do as much fun stuff because this is something that you need to do. And obviously, you're making the decision yourself to take this and take the next step within your life. So you need to be prepared for it, and you need to understand what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wise words at this age, man. Wise words at this age.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the last thing I want to ask then, which is a little bit more like I guess strategic in a sense, is
Mhm.
with you now. Obviously, you have capital to run ads,
Yeah.
and you going after roofers. Is there a certain kind of like, and if, again, maybe you don't have to reveal the whole kind of strategy you have, but
Mhm.
I know you have something cooking on the back end when it comes to your strategy on this.
Yeah.
What is, how are you planning on doing it? Because obviously everyone wants to make 10K out of thin air and
Mhm.
profit in a month. What's your like, I guess, plan of action? Of course, you're following what a lot of the guys and we talk about in the mastermind, but what are you kind of planning on doing? Just maybe make it simple. You don't have to explain everything for, of course, just it being public, but.
Yeah. So obviously I think for marketing terms, before I even like obviously I'm gonna start running ads really soon because I have the money and I'm actually gonna probably start doing it literally tomorrow. But
Mhm.
what I've been doing to get good at ads is honestly just pure learning about marketing. like watching YouTube videos, learning from you guys, learning from people in the community to get really, really, really good at marketing. So when I actually go out there and I run my ads, I have a whole system in place of creating good creatives on how to,
Hmm.
write good copy, make sure the campaigns are all set up properly. So that's one thing, and then also one thing that I'm doing that's a bit of innovation in my agency, because I wouldn't say I'm like everybody else that just does a proven format, does this. Like, I'm testing different innovation type of stuff. So one thing that I'm doing really differently is my funnels is really different. A bit of my AI automation I'm doing is a bit of different. So like my text back messages and all that stuff, they're like conversational. So I use
Yep.
AI conversational text backs. I use longer call sequences, and honestly, I'm just trying to innovate my systems a bit and innovate my ad system. So obviously, I think it's gonna pay me lots of money down the road when I set that up properly. But that's definitely one thing I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I 100% agree. I think finding the proven, like the amount of money I've paid people for, like, funnels that have
yeah,
worked well, or just proven systems in general, and just help that I'd have to go spend probably 5x the amount of money on to test myself.
mhm.
You just pay the people that have it already, and then obviously it's shortcuts the process massively, and you have to spend less money and time and headache.
Yeah,
So it
exactly.
sounds like, I mean, that's kind of your plan, and you're
Yeah.
obviously testing new things, which is what you should be doing. So,
And especially,
yeah,
yeah, like the learning and stuff like that. Obviously, because I was saying about the funnels and the automation, I learned that within the community. Honestly, there's a few guys in
yeah.
the community. They were just teaching me about some cool ways to add some spice to the agency. So I really took that in and just actually started doing it.
Your funnels look sick. I've seen them before. They're pretty unique, that's for sure. And
Yeah,
that's probably why they convert. So
100%.
I like it. I like it. Well, cool, dude. I mean, that's really it. Honestly, I think for kind of this interview, any last words you'd want to leave maybe the people? I know you probably want, just maybe you can shout out your YouTube and stuff, because so people can follow you on there. But maybe give some last words and then where people can follow you.
Yeah. So in terms of last words, go out there, grind your ass off, learn first, and then start earning. And honestly, for you guys that are interested in actually starting an agency, just take the leap, because tons of people say, and obviously I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's like completely true. You cannot get to where you want to go if you don't take action. So if you're just sitting from the sidelines and watching other people do better stuff than you, get to where you want to go in life, and you just see them ahead of you, then obviously you need to know that it's time to start taking action and stop comparing yourself with others and just start focusing on yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% agree. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on my YouTube at rocco.donofrio. So that's my YouTube channel right there. Obviously, I'm posting a bit of my journey as a young entrepreneur, some of the stuff I struggle with, some of the stuff I excel with, and just being really, really authentic with my community, essentially.
Easy, bro. Well,
Yep.
Rocco, it's been good
Awesome.
to chat, and I think the people here got a lot of value. Of course, you at
100%.
15 with the results you have and the results you're gonna
Yeah.
have is absurd. You're years ahead of me, of most people I know, almost everyone I know, especially in this space. So
Yep.
he's gonna be doing some big things. But honestly, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys found some value from Rocco, and thanks, man. We'll maybe
Appreciate
jump
it.
on the channel soon again soon.
100%. Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome,
See you,
bro.
man.